Hello everyone, welcome back to Data Crafting with Sneha. Today we are going to solve a popular interview question that has been asked many times. This question is about write a solution to find the IDs of the users who visited without making any transactions and the number of times they made these types of visits and return the result table sorted in any order. So first, let's understand what we need to do. We have two tables. The first one is called the visits and it contains the information about all the customer who visited the mall. So visit table contains visit ID and customer ID and the information about all the customers who visited the mall. And the second table, transactions, it holds details about the customer who made transaction during their visits. Okay, so our task is to find out which customer visited the mall but did not make any transaction. In other words, we need to identify those visit ID that are present in the visits table but not in the transaction table, right? So let's look at the customer ID 54. Customer ID 54 visited with visit ID 7 and 8, but neither visit ID 7 and nor visit ID 8 present in the transaction table. Okay, visit ID 7 and 8 are not present in the transaction table. So the customer ID 54, the customer ID 54 and the count of visits where the customer did not make any transaction, which is 2, right? So I will use left join for this. Left join returns all the rows from the left table and the matching rows from the right table. In our case, the left table is visits table and the right table is the transactions table. Right. If there is no match, the results will show the null for columns from the right table. Okay. So let's move on to the SQL server. First, I will join the visits and transaction table using the visit ID column. On visit ID. Now I will select customer ID, visit ID from visits, and the transaction ID. Now I will run this query. Okay, I will use left join, sorry. And now I will run this query. See, it will get all the records from the visits table and customer who visited and made the transaction and customer who visited but did not make any transaction. So how do we recognize those who did not make any transaction? So look at this output. If it is null, it means the customer did not make any transaction. So customer ID 30 and the transaction ID is null. So customer ID 30 did not make any transaction. Same for the 54. The customer ID 54, visit ID 7 and 8 and the transaction ID is null. So the customer ID 54 are not made any transactions, right? So I will put where condition to filter out, where condition to filter out only those customer who did not make any transaction. So where transaction ID is null. Now I will run this query and it will filter out only those customer who did not make any transaction. Okay, so it will give us all the information about the customer who visited the mall but did not made any transaction, right? Now in the output we want customer ID and the count of customers they visited without making any transaction. So count star as count no transactions, right? And I will use group by customer ID. So I will run this query and it will give the customer ID and how many times each customer visited the mall but did not make any transaction, right? I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.